Hey everybody, this is Slappy White with Radish Digital. That's digital with a J. We're here with BoBA for Monday, August 17, 2026, breaking down all the Bo Jackson Battle Arena sales from yesterday, from Sunday. Starting off is that we've got Eric Misterhop, who's filling in for Roux from DeckedBy KJ for today. And Eric, it's not too often we see two one-of-one sales on the same day, right?
No, it is not. And that's wanted to lead the show off with these two nukes right here. Gorgeous cards, starting with the Rainstorm. I absolutely love the Rainstorm artwork. This is inspired by Tim Raines. So this was interesting to me because the non-auto super went for $500 more than the auto super. And it could have just been a matter of time as to when that sold. It was, right in the thick of Griffey, and then this one's selling a little bit after during the Tecmo release. But a super auto for $1,650 seems like a great buy to me.
Yeah, it seems like a great buy. Is that, Eric, you have a lot of experience in big cardboard. I mean, a Tim Raines autograph card, how many of them are going for $1,650?
Not that many. Yeah. I don't know that he has that many. And I don't know that if he did have a super auto that it would go for $1,650. That's for sure. Probably at least remove the one off the front of that would be more like it.
Okay, and so the Claymore, of course, one of the secret one-of-ones for folks just tuning in. There was an announcement from the Bo team before the Mahomes set drops is that they will be ending the secret one-of-ones. I don't put it past them to bring it back at some point, but Eric, does it make the existing secret one-of-ones more valuable, the fact that their run is over and we're not at year 2 of Bo Jackson Battle Arena?
I think so, and I feel like we saw a lot get gobbled up when that announcement was made. People were going back and trying to buy the secret one-of-ones from past sets as well. This one to me is a pretty solid buy. I've seen these gold coin hexes for featured go around that 400 and up mark. I think Claymore, this might be towards the low end for a featured hero. But I absolutely love these cards. Two of my favorite things going on here, the gold coin flip as well as the hex weapon type.
Yeah. And we should mention to the folks who aren't players, it's a 165 power for folks who don't know. Again, 90% of you are not players, but you just need to understand when it comes to the power level, there's a standard deck that goes through 160, and then you can unlock bonus cards up to 250 power. Realistically, 190 to 200 is where most people are going to max out. But the 165 is the lowest of the bonus cards you can unlock. So we talk about it like this, so we help create that myth around the 165, which tends to depress their price. So that's another factor, right, Eric?
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to pay attention to that.
Okay, moving on to the sales, Eric, that you put aside for today. Of course, the Rainstorm you've already talked about. The Claymore, that's number 2. And then moving on to number 3, you've got Deep Freeze, the second sale with the previous one at 305.
Yeah, what a steal. I mean, alpha update. This is George Gervin, Bubblegum Autos, rumored to be around that 8 to 12 print run on these. And I'm honestly surprised that we've even seen 2 sales on this card, because a lot of gum autos, you typically don't even see that many sell. But an alpha era card, which alpha cards are really hot right now. People have been gobbling these up, especially Apex level, which that 170, anything 160 plus is going to be Apex deck qualifying. So for somebody to snag this at 190, fantastic purchase right here.
Yeah, and you know what, Eric, I have a really sad admission to make is that I don't remember Deep Freeze from Alpha Update. I really don't.
He was rare. He was hard to pull.
Yeah, I am not remembering him. So I was like, what set is he? And by the way, when we take a look at these cards, for people who are at home and want to play along, you can always go to radishpriceguide.com/boba-raw. You can also find it in the menu. Go up to more. You can tune into the show's broadcast From there, you can see what Eric has selected for his cards that he wants to take a look at. And when you go there, you'll take a look at this Merloms. What's the information on here? It's got the SSP. It shows super short print. It says who it's inspired by. It says the year, the edition, the card number. It also, over on the right, it tells you it came from eBay as opposed to Eric's single stream. That's just some of the information. But all right, Eric, I set you up for the Merloms. Talk to us about this 175.
Yeah, so almost the same price as an Alpha Update Gum Auto. You've got a Merloms Alpha Battle Foil. This is out of the Tecmo set. However, it does qualify as an Alpha card. Merloms market is on fire right now. Everybody's been gobbling him up, I think, for part of the preseason hype, but also he's the next cover hero for Battle Arena. He's going to be front and center, unmasked in Update, and I think people are now paying a little bit of a premium for Merloms card. He's almost getting that 7-ring treatment right now.
But what's funny, Eric, you brought up the fact that it's alpha eligible, but you look at the Power 135, and there's so many battle foils, like common battle foils, that you can play at the 135, right? It doesn't do anything for your deck, so you can play it then. But you, I mean, like, that's not to say, like, I get excited. Like, sometimes I look at these alpha battle foils, I'm like, oh, I have another card for my alpha deck, and I'm like, well, wait a second, I don't need a card. I think sometimes you get excited, right? Just the fact that you get an alpha battle foil. Yeah. All right, moving on. Oh, and this is a favorite for Eric. Tell the story about you and your son the night you watched him.
Oh man, yeah, huge Cooper Flag fan here. My son loves Cooper Flag as well. He sort of models his game after him, and we went to Dallas just to watch him play, and that's the night he hit 51 points, and Topps even made a card after that night, which was absolutely insane. So I've been loving Maverick stuff. I've got a nice little collection going. This card is just absolutely gorgeous. You got the Hex weapon on the Coliseums, which we don't have Coliseums in Tecmo. Will be interesting to see if they come back in a future release. But this card, it looks like it's sold twice. It's taken a little bit of a dip, but not too much. Last sale was at 600, so roughly around the same price. But, you know, 185 power, you can get 185s for a lot cheaper than this one. However, being a Hex and being Maverick with that rookie-inspired shield, I feel like is giving a nice premium to this sale.
All right, and Eric, is this, for folks who don't know, and I know you're going to give us your expertise, the highlighted heroes, does every highlighted hero have a alternate pose, or do just some of them have an alternate pose? And is this the Mavericks alternate pose? And why did they do alternate poses? I bet you can't answer the last question. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, that's a hard one, but I'll see if you have that answer. So there were only 2 heroes in the Tecmo set that had both a base and a highlighted card. That was PB Buckets and Maverick. There were other highlighted heroes, and that basically it's a higher power card. It's going to be a little rarer, but they do not sign in the product. So think about your featured heroes, which we all know sign. These highlighted heroes do not have autographs. They have a higher power level, and they're a little more scarce, but they also have a base pose, which is going to be a little bit lower power level, and you'll see more often. In Tecmo, we've got Joe Cool, as well as Hands, inspired by Jerry Rice. So this is the base pose Maverick. If this were the highlighted, I believe it would be a 195 he went up to, or a 200. I can't remember if he got that power level. And it would also be a secret 1 of 1. But since it is the base pose, not considered either of those things, just a super short print Hex.
And I'll try to bring it up while you're talking about something else, but he's like running towards you in the alternate pose, right?
Yes.
And then just one thing, it's funny, you've got Tecmo on the mind. You mentioned Maverick and PB Buckets in the Tecmo edition. And I know you meant Griffey because you brought up Tecmo later on. So you got Tecmo on the brain there, Eric. All right.
Of course, ripping it every day.
Yeah. Speaking of Tecmo, Duke of Denver is on your list at number 6.
Yeah, Duke of Denver, 321 for a glow 190. I feel like that's a pretty good buy right there. These 190s, we're seeing them right around that, 250, 300 mark for lower weapon types. A glow's a little bit more rare. So for this to go for 321, I think is pretty solid and a little bit of an increase over the last purchase as well.
Yeah, I think it's the first graph we've seen going up. All right, next on your list, we were talking about them a lot after the NBA championship, Burner.
Yeah, I love looking at this graph right here. As you can see, this card was going for around $120. And then, of course, with Burner's rise to the championship for the Knicks, this is now a $300 card, and it last sold, or at least the average has been around 250 for the last 90 days. So this card definitely took a nice jump based on player performance alone. Nothing else has changed other than the Knicks winning the NBA championship. This was a $150 card all day long for several months. Knicks crushed it. Now Burner auto, you're looking at 300 for a steel auto. Really solid price right here.
I'm sure Rob will tell me, of course, you can do that in the dynamic sales price. If you head up to more and you go to dynamic sales report. But you know what I want to look at, Eric, because I know you loved diving deep into the numbers, but I'd love to see the top 10 most traded autographs in Bo Jackson Battle Arena, because with 29 sales, that's kind of shocking, because usually when you get at these high dollar, right, it's people want to hold on to them and not let go. So I'm kind of shocked that there's 29, and I would say that's in the top 10, but maybe it would surprise me, Eric. And like, maybe this would be like the 50th most, traded auto.
It seems up there for sure. I know people probably taking advantage of his price spike and looking to move their cards.
Yeah. All right. Well, next up you had Troy of Dallas going up there.
Yeah, this was an absolute steal right here. These glow skylines, you can only find these in double megas. In hobby, you have the fire and ice skyline. It is very hard to get a featured hero. We've opened a lot of packs, and you typically are getting base heroes out of the case. It is rare just to get a fire or ice. To get a glow, even more rare. I've been seeing a lot of the quarterbacks, 180 plus power levels go for $300 or more. So to be able to get this for 150, it's the only sale. I don't know the print run on these. You might not see another one pop up for quite some time. They are extremely rare. But yeah, this was a great buy.
Beautiful card. All right, moving on to number 9. You had the Lawman Super Short print. Talk about this one.
Yeah, another retail hit here. These are the Icon helmets out of double megas. This is the Hex weapon, which is an SSP. 155 is the max power for Lawman. Absolute steal at $21. This card should not be selling for under 50. So congratulations to whoever bought that. I wish I was paying attention whenever this went up for sale.
What do you think, Eric? Do you think that's going to be on our steal of the day?
I think so. Well, there's one more, but this is probably more of a steal.
All right.
That would be my recommendation.
All right. And then the final one you had up for number 10, looking at Allen Wrench.
Yeah, Allen Wrench. So a silver steel 155. These are also very hard to find because I run an all silver steel deck, and 155 power is a hole that is difficult to fill. You've got to get 6 different heroes. They're all featured at that 155 power level. I'm really shocked that this sold for less than $20 previously, and then it recently sold for 20. Is absolutely crazy. I mean, this should be, I would say, like $35 to $50 card, somewhere in that range, just because of how hard these are to get.
Wow. All right. Moving on. Let's go to the top 10 sales. We hit Rainstorm, of course. We didn't hit Timmy, which is the gum. Are you surprised $600 for a Timmy gum auto?
No, I'm not surprised at that. That seems about right for me.
All right. Moving on. Wow. Wait. A National 24. I got to take a look. I think this is, if I had to guess, I'm guessing that this was a serialized, and it's very hard. One of the things that Rob and I talk about, and it's always a challenge keeping up with Bo Jackson Battle Arena, because so many of their cards, they repeat the same card numbers. They make it very hard for image recognition. But if we take a look at this of course is going to be S106, and this is the, let's see, glow. It's a battle foil. It's got to be serialized. Let me take a look at this. Let's inspect it further. Well, I know that's your buddy, X, right? Exquid. I think Anthony knows him. Cursive Breaks. Do you know him as well, Exquisite?
Yeah, yeah, he's very active on Whatnot in Discord.
Yeah, this is not the serious. This is crazy.
Yeah, I
This is
wonder if he used the wrong picture
yeah, but it
or if
doesn't
he
say
mislabeled it.
no. I mean, it doesn't say serialized, so that's
Yeah.
not on him. He's saying it's the Glow 106, 106. So what's really interesting, right? 106 of 100. Maybe somebody could get confused. That's a serialized card. It's not. That's the card number. It's really weird. These were bonus cards that went above 100, so it was this weird 106 of 100. But that clearly is not the serialized picture, and it's not the serialized name, and that's sold for $600, which I'm glad to see, and I hope it stays, Eric, because I actually have one of the serialized Showtime cards, and I would love if that price sticks.
Yeah, no doubt. I
All
would
right.
doubt it though.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on there. All right, moving on is that we've got the Maverick that you talked about. Ooh, and another Maverick right below there, Eric. Talk about that one. This was not a gum auto. This was just a gum, and it's actually down 25%.
Yeah, just a gum and it's down, but that's still a really good price. 425 for a 185 gum is going to be on the high end of any gum. So, even though it's down a little bit, I feel like the Maverick hype is just helping carry. And this again is his base pose, not the highlighted.
Yeah, and of course, the smart people getting buying their basketball before the season really gets underway. When you see that bump of prices, and then finally a 7-ring, which is interesting, 275. I mean, 7-ring. We've been seeing a premium on it, and I'm actually surprised, Derek, to see it's up 67% from its last. I mean, I think the last one was a pretty good, and we're seeing this, right? We're seeing new people come into Bo Jackson Battle Ring. What do they know? They know rookies, Maverick. They know GOATs, Tom Brady. So is this 275 price? I mean, is this still too low, you think, for a 7-ring?
I don't think it's too low, but I did see a 185 7-ring. I believe it was Fire sell for a significant amount the other day too. So I think 7-ring's just getting a ton of hype right now. He's very hard to pull out of Tecmo. He's one of the highlighted heroes that are difficult to get. But I think 275 solid for him. I think that's a good number.
Yeah, unless you're Tex Hooper, who pulls 7-rings like most people pull dingleberries out of you know what. And then finally, Flav, which is, something, I love the cyber cards. I love how they look. And what's interesting to me is the Big League Chew, the raspberry sour apple. Like, I'm not sure, like, I don't feel like there's the same love for those, like the serialized cards, but the cyber cards, like, I mean, Eric, what do you think? Why do you think these prices keep going? Do you think there's just an aesthetic appeal? Because there's Bo Jackson in the Big League Chew variety, but these seem to be doing better.
Yeah, and these count as alpha cards, right?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so I think that's part of it. I think there's also a little bit of hope around the mobile game that
Yep.
if you hold on to these, you'll be able to use them in the mobile game, which they could be quite powerful. We don't really know how any of that would work or when it will work. But I think those two things going on, but I agree. I think they're gorgeous looking cards. I have a CC that's a PSA 10
Oh,
that I probably will never get rid of.
wow. What do you
Yeah.
put that value at? A CC
Uh,
grade 10.
well, I
2000?
would say over $1,000. Yeah, maybe
Okay.
1,500.
Okay. Well, speaking of graded, great segue. Thanks, Eric. These were our top sales. So look at that. PSA 10 Billy mixtape
That's
glow
awesome.
for $2,000. So, and I'm trying to remember, this is coming out of, this is because of the promo card from 2025. I can't remember if this is actually a 1 of 1. And folks should know, like, I have to talk to Rob about this. When we don't put super short print or short print, I don't want there to be confusion, is that the team has released information on some sets, but not all sets. So just because you don't see a SSP or 1 of 1 doesn't mean it's not that. It could just mean that the team hasn't verified that. And there's also community knowledge that we could put out there, but of course we have to be careful because that's just knowledge. That's tribal knowledge. So Eric, maybe you can remember, are these glow Billies, are they 1 of 1?
That I don't know.
I think with the glow, right, it's usually 3 to 5, but with Billy, and like the reason why I mentioned this, you really want to stay with the hex weapon. Reason why I asked Eric that is you never know with what they might do with Billy, and there's always, I feel like, Eric, there's got to be some shoe that they haven't dropped and they haven't told us about it. I know we know of no other glow 101, but just curious to and by the way, Eric, you had said for folks who are coming from the big cardboard world, from Topps, Fanatics, Panini, generally speaking, when you grade 10, you're seeing about a 3x on the price of a raw. Over here in BoBA, you're seeing much higher multiples. Now, with that said, if this Billy is not graded a 10, say it's not graded at all, what is this going for raw?
Ooh, maybe 700, 800.
Okay. Yeah, which is interesting because it kind of defeats, like, you see that through 90% of the heroes, right? The 8 to 10x, but Billy's different because he's in such high demand and so scarce.
Yes, and I think that, because his raw sales are going to get a premium, but I also think the higher up you go in price, the less of a multiplier you might get. So you might be back to that kind of 3 to 5x versus a 10x on some of those higher end cards, because the raws are going to sell for so much.
Okay, and I want you to go on and mention that crossbow, which is, Eric is a great, people don't know, Misterhop Card Society, hop into his Whatnot streams. He's an amazing person to talk about grading. Talk about the crossbow PSA 10, because I want to look up Steady Eddie and bring that up to you in 1 second.
Yeah, I mean, this is a 140 glow linoleum, which, very rare card in itself, but $120 for a PSA 10. This is probably a $40-$50 card in a raw format, and then to get 120. So you're seeing that 3 to 4x multiplier on a PSA 10 here.
Okay, and looking at it looks like the last one for a Steady Eddie inspired ink, it looks like going back to December 13th, one actually sold for 375, which is interesting. That's what it sold for. On last September, it sold for 310. And then back in August a year ago, it sold for 200. So talk to us about this, Eric. Was it the right move for the person to grade it? Like, is Eddie George just not good enough that you want to grade it? Is it is it in this weird spot where it's an inspired ink from a kind of middling hero and you're just not going to get that multiple? I mean, what do you think's happened here? You just think somebody got a great deal getting that at 375?
I think somebody got a great deal getting that at 375. Some of these cards, it's hard because this is an alpha era card and it's an apex level card. So a 185 alpha card is going to be in very high demand, regardless of if it's graded or not. I think grading would be more for a collector versus a player. And you just have to do some homework and research to know if that player is going to command that premium. I always tell people to grade more of the GOATs. Eddie George was a great running back. I don't know that I would put him in the GOAT category. And so maybe he's not getting that super premium, but I would think in a PSA 10, this would go for almost double that 375, like a $600-$700 sale on this.
Yeah, and there's a big difference between 9 and 10. All right, moving on to steals. Yeah. Let's see if we're going to see some of those. All right, so talk to me about one. You've got the short print, undrafted Wrecking Ball, and then the Percolator super short print. What was the better steal?
I would say the Wrecking Ball. I think people weren't really that big on the Grillin cards this past year. I know the featured were very rare to get in Griffey, and they did do an event on the Grillins. Maybe they'll do another one where people sort of went after those cards. But anytime you can get a featured hero for $10, I think that's a fantastic steal. And this is a 140 power. It's not super low. It's not a 120.
Okay, and then inspired, you've got the Lawman Glow going for $10, and you've got the Decap Glow going for $8. Which is the better deal?
I'd probably go with the Lawman. Decap was sort of a faded hero in Griffey. I don't think a whole lot of people chased him or loved him. Lawman, of course, being a quarterback, as well as for the Jags, which are a pretty solid team, and a newer release too. I would think that card would sell for higher than the decap. And as you can see, it went from 22 to 10. So really great buy right there.
Okay, movers for yesterday. Of course, these are top 5 risers, top 5 fallers, percentage move from their previous card. I don't think, Eric, I've ever seen 4,000% before. The dartboard, we got to talk about a 4,000%er, up 4,000% from its last sale at $39. Is this just overexcitement about the NFL season? And again, the new people coming in, what are they focused on? Rookies.
Yeah, I think it was a great buy. Whoever made the first one, 39 seems about more where it should be, maybe that $30 to $40 range. Dartboard, very popular. He's got the highest power level for a base hero at 135 as well. And this being an ice insert is a short printed card you don't see every day.
Okay, and then finally on the top fallers, you choose. We've got oh my gosh, I wish I had seen that.
Wow.
Dennis Eckersley, $38.
Look at that. Ice auto, numbered Dennis Eckersley auto for $30. That's insane. That's definitely the steal of the day.
Okay, we'll call that the steal of the day and move on from there. All right, moving on to, let's see, speaking of which, you just heard the person who called it the steal of the day. That's Eric Misterhop from the Card Society. Eric, when are you breaking this week?
I'll be on every single day. We usually start about 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Some days we do 2 cases. Some days we do 1 case. We'll be back tomorrow with 2 cases, 2 different format breaks. And we got a big one on Saturday. We'll be breaking live from Cards HQ in Atlanta during a sealed tournament. We're also going to live stream the Learn to Play with Charlie Culberson. So if you ever want to see how to play BoBA or have not been able to learn yet, now's a great opportunity to learn from a previous baseball player.
Got BoBA cards? Don't guess the price. Look up their value now at radishpriceguide.com.
Yeah, and also wanted to mention Mia will be on tomorrow afternoon. She's been going 3 times a week for us. She starts about 5 p.m. Tons of energy, a lot of fun. The most knowledgeable person I know on WNBA too. So feel free to give her some WNBA trivia when you see her.
Oh my gosh, I got to talk to her about the current controversies going on there. All right,
Yes.
moving on to the sealed price guide. So today we had Griffey Hobby Box going for $760. Ooh, a national N26 event pack for $712. On Good Morning Bo today, where did you and did Anthony say 600? That's where he's putting the value?
He said 6. I said 7. Looks
6,
like the
7.
last one was in that range too. So man, those are amazing packs.
Yeah,
there's a pretty high ceiling on what you can pull out of those, and the floor is pretty high too. So I would love to rip a bunch of those.
I am so excited that I have a sealed one because you know me, I'm trying to have a sealed one from every SKU. And the fact that I was able to pull a sealed one, that baby is never getting ripped.
Did you get that off a wheel spin?
I did.
Wow.
One out of 6. And the best part is one of my other 5 stopped the one before it.
Oh, so you almost had 2.
Yeah, this wheel is massive. And so to be able to get, like, your odds were 1 in 30 of getting it. Although you can cry for me. I didn't get a hot dog. I never got a Bo 24 ticket. I never got a Bo 25 ticket. I never got a hot dog. Tex Hooper, again, going back to the Dingleberry situation, he pulls them like, all right, so Tecmo release day double mega. So came in, Eric, at 259. I saw it was down this morning. It looks like it popped back up above the 90-day moving average. Honestly, Eric, this isn't financial advice, but I think those release day double megas, it's only a matter of time before they're going to break 300.
I think so too. Yeah, okay. I see those going up a little bit, especially as they dry up.
Yep. And then we've got the Tecmo double mega again coming in at 140. Once you get eBay fees, once you're through eBay fees, it's crazy. You're talking essentially the cost of, and again, I can't remember who was mentioning this, that it's most likely, maybe it was Shano, excuse me, it's not somebody who paid Dick's price. It's somebody who got it differently, because there's no way if you bought it at Dick's, you would want to sell it at 140. You're just breaking even. And then the Griffey Blaster Box. This is like the fruitcake at Christmas that you can never get rid of. Is like, I mean, we love the Griffey product, but those blasters cannot get away with. There's like a magnet at $40, Eric, and there's, and it's just in Griffey Blaster Box are metal, and they're just stuck together forever.
Yeah, I've been buying these. I use them as giveaways in shows. People love the pack rips, and it's an expensive giveaway, but it's been a lot of fun. Honestly, we've been pulling like great grandma's linoleums. We pulled some autographs out of them, so you never know. I know there's a decent amount out there, but it's still a fun rip, and you can get some bombs out of those packs.
Yeah, I still want to get that page up, like an ode to the blaster box, because I'm only teasing. Of course, like the blaster boxes are notorious for great hits. Of course, the Alpha Bow non-auto came out of a blaster box.
Yes.
And we'll see if the Alpha Bow auto comes out of that. All right, and then yesterday we had two sales. Tecmo Hobby Box coming at $675 and the Alpha Update Blaster Box $140. Tecmo Hobby Box $675. What do you think happens when Mahomes drops? Do you think the Tecmo Hobby Box sees a little depreciation, or do you think we're losing the supply and this sucker is gonna start to move up here, just like the Griffey box? I mean, are you surprised that Griffey's trading $100 above the, let's see, 760 or 675? So almost $100 there. Yeah, almost $100. What do you think, Eric? Are you surprised that you're seeing that?
I'm a little surprised at the price differential right now. I think people, once we're a little bit into the Mahomes set, people are gonna get a little nostalgic about the Tecmo Hobby. I also think that there's still a lot of those touchdown bow out of 34 autos. There's still a lot of supers to be found. So there's some big hits, and there's going to be heroes in Tecmo that won't be in the Mahomes update. So when we get a lot of new collectors that come in, new players, they're going to be looking for some of those heroes, some of those cards that are in Tecmo that you can't find in update. And they're going to want to go back and rip some of those older hobby boxes. So I think we'll see a few of them get gobbled up, which is what I think is going on with Griffey right now. Yeah. Is just people having that nostalgia, or they're new to Battle Arena and they want to rip some Griffey.
Okay, and then finally, plays. Talk to us about one of the plays here. Curveball, high turnover, overflow draw.
Let's go high turnover, the bonus play there. So 3 or more heroes in your discard pile, you get plus 25. This is kind of the new meta of discarded heroes. People are looking to build their deck up with discard plays. So you rack up a bunch of heroes sitting in your discard pile, and then you can lay down plays like this where you can get a plus 25 for only 2 hot dogs. This is being a bonus play, one of the foil plays. You can only get these out of double megas. They're very rare, hard to get, and they always sell well on the secondary market.
Okay, and that's going to do it for today's BoBA Raw on Monday, August 17, 2026. You've been listening to Eric Misterhop from the Card Society. This is Slappy with Radish Digital. Have a great day.
BoBA Raw, scrolling through the sales tonight. Rarity glowing in the neon light. Price check, play check, cards on the floor. We're hanging out and talking BoBA Raw. Big hits, hot takes, let it roll. Battle Arena, heart and soul.